Hello everyone, this is Shorter Than the Easel with a sort of quick video. This isn't going to be another art teaching video. This isn't another anyone can art. I do still have the next episode in the works, but clearly this isn't it. I want to use this video as a chance to talk about generative AI and something I've noticed, especially within the art community. Now in this video, I am redrawing one of the first attempts, I guess, I did at digital art. This was back in the early 2000s. I was in my teens. And I remember being very, very frustrated with myself giving digital art a shot because where I was traditionally was in no way, shape, or form where I was digitally. Because I started off with a Wacom Bamboo Fun tablet. That was the one that came with the mouse. And I was using GIMP. Now, anyone who's used a generic drawing tablet knows the difficulty of learning the hand-eye coordination that comes with using one. Because you have to sort of readjust. Because it's not like using an iPad or a pen display tablet where you're drawing directly on the screen like drawing on paper. It's sort of like learning to draw with a mouse, but with the added pen pressure, and it's really difficult. I remember being so frustrated and giving up multiple times, and at one point I decided to try what I did in the original drawing, and that was draw something traditionally and then color it in digitally using the lasso tool and an overlay. Now, why am I saying this? Why am I showing you this? Why am I even redrawing it? Well, it's because of something I've noticed lately in the art community, especially when it comes to generative AI. Because I've noticed a lot of really good artists who have such a distinct style and so much character and expression in their work, feeding their art to the machine essentially to finish. And a lot of them, it's because they don't see themselves being able to finish it how they want to. So they feed it to the machine and tell them how, or tell the generator how they want it to look. And then they claim the final piece as their own. Now, my views on AI, especially generative AI, is that I don't have issue with the technology necessarily. Yes, there are the issues with how it's typically sourced and the environmental toll, but my issue is more with how it's used and abused. But I can go on a whole spiel about that in a different video. But with how I've seen it used by so many people who can draw and paint, to me it feels like it stunts the creative growth. It stunts your growth as an artist because part of being an artist and learning how to make art is about the learning process. It's about developing those skills and practicing and growing. And you're constantly growing and changing as an artist. How I'm drawing today is not the same as how I drew even like a year or two ago. Because I'm constantly growing and changing and learning new techniques and ways to approach my art, whether it's a different way to sketch or a different way to shade or a different combination of brush sets. And I do feel like I'm seeing a lot of artists starting to sort of fall back on generative AI as a crutch because they don't think they can get to the point they want. It, it almost comes from like a, or seems like it comes from a place of insecurity in their own skills and their own abilities. And it's really disheartening to see because these are people who their style is so unique to them and it's so good and I see so much potential in them and it hurts to see them see generative AI, see how quickly these generators can make things and create a final product and then feel like they can't get to that final product that they want as quickly or at all. And it really hurts. It hurts to see that because I know they can. And I know it's completely possible because they got to the point they're at today through constant practice and drawing and learning and progressing. They got to this point by making art. These are skills you can learn and develop and grow. And clearly they've done that. And they can continue to do that. But generative AI it almost does what me starting out with digital art in my teens almost did to me. And briefly did to me a few times because I gave up plenty of times when I started out. Because again, I didn't see the digital skills as matching my traditional skills. And granted, I was a teen. I was drawing how teens drew. So it wasn't the best, but the skill levels didn't seem to match. It felt like learning to redraw and start at square one all over again. But I kept coming back to it and practicing. I mean, granted, I'm also stubborn, so a lot of times that stubbornness leads to determination, which leads to me wanting to improve and be like, no, I can do this. I can get better. And I did. And I mean, you guys have seen if I didn't practice and learn and keep that determination to improve going, I wouldn't have been invited to the Raw Natural Born Artist show back in 2018. I wouldn't have done as many commissions as I have. I wouldn't even have this channel if I didn't keep that up. Heck, I wouldn't even be making this video. I wouldn't be redrawing this if I gave up. So I just want you guys to know. Use this video and my progression from the early 2000s to now. Use this redraw as proof and inspiration that you can progress and learn and get where you want to be without the use of generative AI. And I know someone's gonna say some argument about disability too. Hi, I'm raising my hand. You guys can't see it, but I I do have hand tremors. One of my biggest insecurities I had, even in my teens, was shaky hands, and yet one of my favorite things to do is line work. Even traditionally, I used to love intricate, detailed line work. And one of the best things about digital art is that a lot of brushes have a stabilizer. I didn't see my tremors acting up and think, "Oh, well, I can't make anything." And say, "Oh, here's generative AI. I'm going to type in what I want to quote unquote create." No, I didn't. I kept drawing and making things and finding ways to keep creating. And sure, there are some times where the shakiness, it causes me to just stop and just take a day off from drawing. But even then, I can still come back to it at another point. Don't let anyone tell you that you need generative AI in order to make art, because you don't. You need determination and just the want and will to make art and improve and grow. Because you can. Don't let anyone tell you you can't. And don't let anyone tell you that generative AI is the only way and you have to adapt and it's adapt or die. No. Plenty of programs come with little AI tools that you can ignore completely. Just keep making. Keep keep practicing, keep learning. Don't let anyone tell you that this brand new shiny, sparkly thing that is unethically sourced and does take a toll on the environment and a lot of other things that I can make a whole different video on is the only way to go. Because it's not. So if you like this video and you want to see more and you want me to talk about more things, leave a comment, give this video a thumbs up, and subscribe for more. And I will see you guys in the next video. And just remember, you can make art. You don't need a generator to make it for you.